Hello, welcome to ZEE Companion. I'm Anjali, and today on the show it's our Inspirations Day, and we are exploring the legacy of Jagjit Singh. But before I introduce you to our guests on the show tonight, I would love for you to see there's something special that we've put together for you. Lyrics of a Legacy Jagjit Singh has been written by Dr. Umesh Khot and his wife Dr. Sharmila Khot. They have an incredible passion for ghazal music and especially for Jagjit Singh, and they're here with me in the studio to talk about their experience, what inspired them to write this wonderful work, and also how they embarked on this journey in the first place. Sharmila, Umesh, I really welcome you to ZEE Companion. Thank you for being here.
It's good to be here, Anjali.
I think what you have accomplished with this book is incredible, and I really just want to show our viewers the front page of this because it's just so incredibly beautiful. It's handmade, and it just captures all the memories and the magnificence of Jagjit Singh throughout his life, intertwined with his lyrics and his music. So I think congratulations to you for putting this together.
Thank
it's
you
beautiful,
very
very
much.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I would love to know, I'll start with you, Sharmila, what was your intention in putting this book together?
When we started off this book, it was much more of trying to transmit the passion that my husband and I feel for the music that was Jagjit Singh. And what we wanted to do is somehow preserve his lyrics, his compositions, for the generations that were to come. We wanted these younger generations to enjoy the music with the same kind of emotions that we experience when we listen to Jagjit Singh's compositions. And this was where we first started off, is we have this body of work to share. Let's see if we can put it together in a format that will actually attract people to want to pick this up and scroll it through or go through it or listen to a piece of work and think, I wish I had the words for it, and now they do.
It's wonderful. And even the clip we just saw, it was actually your 14-year-old daughter who was singing the lyrics for that, and she has the most magnificent voice. And you're really passing down this legacy through her as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as you look at the book, one of the things you'll see and notice straight away is that there's words in Hindi as well as the lyrics written in phonetic English. And in fact, our daughter was the inspiration behind writing these words in phonetic English, because this is how we want to reach out to the second generation Indians abroad or those back in India who cannot read Hindi, but actually want to be able to sing these quite difficult compositions sometimes, but be able to sing it in chaste Urdu.
Yes,
yes. And hence the emphasis on it being phonetic.
Yes, because even as I was reading them, I could pronounce them correctly how they're supposed to be pronounced because of the way that they've been phonetically written.
Absolutely, then that's successful. Thank you,
Yes,
Anjali.
absolutely. And Umesh, what about you? What was your intention for this book?
Well, before I answer that, I think in agreement with my wife, as Sharmila said, that the legacy has to continue, just as the show must go on. If I could get literally hooked to the music and the lyrics at the age of 10, 11, so can our children. Our daughters endure that because they have to listen to Jagjit in the car all the time. But it all comes to fruition, gives satisfaction, because the children, and as you rightly said, she sang a very difficult composition, sung by Lata Mangeshkar in Sajda, the album. But yes, this is essentially my love for Urdu, the diary I wrote, and with the contribution of all friends, philosophers, guides, and divine intervention, this book is done. We really don't know how we did it, but it's
amazing. And it happens, you know, once you embark on a project with your heart and soul, the people that come to help you in the process, it's nothing short of miraculous, really.
That is absolutely
correct. It is. People have given freely, not including, there are 130 lyricists here. There are about 400 ghazals, geets and nazms. And they've given permission, photographs, memories, and it's all come together as emphasis on lyrics so that the language is propagated, but it tells the story of Jagjit Singh, the human being,
Yes.
in the pictures and anecdotes. Plus the dictionary, which allows people to learn the language as we did step by step. But everything, it's a reference book for life under one umbrella.
So may I ask what inspired you to write this book?
I think it has a lot to do with the passing of Jagjit Singh, because the diary was my personal diary. I guess even Sharmila didn't get too many peeks into it.
Oh, really? Very
But
private then.
Very
Once he
private.
passed away, and I discussed my collation of, rather my diary, and that I had captured all his works and catalogued them just as a hobby. Chitraji was impressed and she said, you must publish it.
And this is Jagjit Singh's wife, is
That's
that correct?
Jagjit Singh's wife.
Yes.
And that's how the ball started rolling. And then come July last year, we both together sat down. Every morning we take our dogs for a walk at 5:30 and discuss the book. So we were bouncing ideas off each other.
Nice.
And then slowly it transformed. This is version 19.
Oh,
so
really?
there were a lot of versions
Yes,
in there.
yes. It's a wonderful book. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
What is it that attracted, let me start with you, Sharmila. What is it that attracted you to Jagjit Singh's ghazals in the first place?
I have to be honest, I think Umesh was the person who introduced me to the world of Jagjit Singh and the world of ghazals in general. Up until then, because I was a convent-educated girl, I listened to English music. I also listened to Indian music, but it tended to be either in Marathi, which is my mother tongue, or Bollywood. And meeting Umesh changed all of that, I have to say. I enjoy poetry, and the poetry that comes through the ghazals is very emotive.
Yes.
It's very soothing. It's inspirational sometimes. It touches you at times when you need that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that is what really got me and Umesh together, and keeps us going in 24 years that we've been married.
That's so lovely. So it's a bonding force.
Well,
for the two.
Very much.
Yeah.
She has
Very much.
mentioned that in the book as this is the silken bond
Ah, beautiful.
of our married life, and a silken bond with Jagjit Singh's music.
And I find his music incredibly captivating.
Yes.
Like when I listen to it, because my parents are very big fans of his as well, and his music, it brings up many emotions when you listen to it, is what I'm finding. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit too much to take because it opens up things and you think, oh my God, I'm feeling so many things and I'm not sure how to handle that. That's how powerful his music
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
I think a lot to do, is to do with his choice of lyrics.
Yeah.
And they had the common problems, common messages. They weren't very high-flying lyrics that he chose. And he has, in a dedicated manner, tried to weed out what the poet is trying to say. And once you immerse yourself, like I have done and then Sharmila has done, you can, while reading this book, well, the way to read this book is have the music running and read the lyrics, understand the meanings. But you can see that he understood how to bring those emotions out. And that is why we've added the facet of what rasa or emotion each lyric presents in his compositions.
Very nice. I especially like the way you've put the book together, because you don't just have the lyrics and the songs, but you have the man behind this music, so his personal moments throughout his lifetime. And one specific one that I'm drawn to is when he was playing chess with Gulzar.
Yes.
And in the picture, you can just see he's so full of life, and the laughter is so real that I had to read underneath what this was about. And when you were explaining the chess moves, I just had to laugh myself, because it's almost like I was there with them, feeling that laughter.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. And a lot of the photographs, actually, when you look at them, are very, very personal. And people have come up with the anecdotes behind those photographs. So, for example, him on a motorbike.
Yes, in America.
And there was
Yes.
there was an anecdote behind that, and how he gave money to some of the people who were with him on the show. The young lads who were accompanying him, so that they could play in Las Vegas, wasn't it, Umesh?
That's right.
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing. Wow.
So we got to hear all of these anecdotes through meeting these people and actually asking them to share their impressions and of the time that they have spent with Jagjit Ji. And through listening back to the tapes that we had created at the time with interviewing these people, we were able to compress and condense some of those emotions into this book form, and I'm very hopeful that will be transmitted across to the reader, because
Yes.
we are trying to tell a story through his work, through a compilation of his lyrics, but it is his story. It is him, and how he was as a person, and how people around him found him to be. Not just us, the listeners of his music,
Sure,
but
yes.
also the ones who knew him closely.
The real person.
The real
really.
him.
Did you find that when you approached people, they were very willing to share their stories about him?
Absolutely. There were hundreds of people who have joined us on this journey, and it has been a journey. There's no question about it. It's been certainly a mindset-changing journey for both of us.
Interesting, yes.
And I don't think Umesh and I have, given that we work as full-time doctors on the NHS and as consultants, we tend to spend as much time as we need to spend with each other, but not necessarily a lot more. But in doing this book together, we actually discovered that we could pull more time out.
That's very nice.
That we could spend together actually working through how this project was going to come through for us.
Yes, and it's very impressive that you were able to work together as a team to create this book, because it's quite a feat, and there's a lot of hard work involved and time involved as well. It's not an easy task.
I think
we pulled
Sharmila
everybody along.
Sharmila was a calming feature, because
that's nice.
being my diary, I was just running away with it, and she said, "Whoa, stop! You don't need to do this. It's looking good as it is. Or change this, change that."
Yes.
So coming back to the lyrics which Sharmila and you were talking about, there's an anecdote in there where, as you said, that his compositions were beautiful. Someone has said in the book that Sudarshan Fakir, a famous lyricist, said that ये गज़ल का नसीब होता है कि वो किस आर्टिस्ट के झोली में गिरे. So who composes that ghazal and makes it, immortal? So it's down to the genius, and he was the genius, and this is our sajda to his work.
It's amazing. It even seems to me like he was so connected with Source, God, the universe, whichever term you wish to use, that it's like he was channeling this music through him.
Yeah, there are many people in the world who think that he and his music is a healing influence on people, and is very spiritual in that sense.
Yes.
And that came out when there were times we'd pick up the phone and ask someone, would you help or contribute? And the moment you said Jagjit Singh, that unending love came out. In fact, we didn't see any geographical boundaries. There are people from Pakistan. There's Sultan Arshad, who has edited the dictionary section.
Yes.
I've never met him. I've not seen him. He came out and helped, and we needed to approach Pakistani poets for their permission. And, within 3 days, all the permissions were there.
That's incredible.
So that's the kind of love.
It was. I mean, boundaries just dissolved. There was no separation between people. It all came down to the love they felt for the man and his music.
Yes.
And that's what's come into this book, effectively, is the man and his genius.
Absolutely. Now, when you came to hear of Jagjit Singh's passing, what was going through you at that time?
I think I was on call, and we do a block of on calls. And I came home when nobody was at home in the afternoon, and I saw it on Sky and BBC News. So obviously it was important enough to make the headlines on that day.
Yes.
And I shed a tear because it's because of his music I've learnt music or taught myself how to play the harmonium. and enough for us to give impetus to our children to follow Indian music, because it is very rich.
Yes.
And it has certain things which are not there. So yes, I missed my lifelong idol. I think it hit Sharmila more because apart from our love, she had to take on another one of my love.
Yes.
So she was more upset than I was, to be honest.
It's true. I mean, I did actually suddenly have this kind of, if not Jagjit, who?
Yeah.
It's like there's a void which only he can fill. And it's still there in the world of music, I think, because there will be people who come and sing Jagjitji's ghazals.
Yes.
And I know from our own experience, when Umesh sings, I mean, we sometimes have little soirees at home where we have friends coming home, and it's a very Indian thing, I think, sometimes, playing the Antakshari or just...
Oh yeah, it's fun, right?
or just having a sing-song with food and, wine and music.
Yes.
And when Umesh sings, we've had a number of people who have come to our house and saying, that's a wonderful song, Umesh. Whose is that? Because they haven't heard the composition before.
Yes.
And I think Umesh has not introduced just me to Jagjit Singh, but a number of other people as well, especially with his Baat Niklegi, To Dur Tarak Jayegi, which is one of his favorites and mine.
So Umesh, you enjoy singing Jagjit Singh's ghazals?
At home, yes.
At home. Would it be too much to ask you to sing a little here? Would that put you on the spot?
I think people who have a keen ear for music will say, that's a good idea, you sing at home.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'll just sing 2 lines.
Of course, 2 lines is plenty. That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
बात निकलेगी तो फिर दूर तलक जाएगी, लोग बेवजह उदासी का सबब पूछेंगे, ये भी पूछेंगे कि तुम इतनी परेशान क्यों हो. And losing him was pareshani for me too, for us.
You have a wonderful voice, Umesh.
Thank you.
Have you considered recording an album?
No.
No? Really?
It is time for the next generation to take on. I'm sure our daughter will fulfill that.
Oh yes, she has a magnificent voice. I'm sure she'll do wonderfully well. And it's wonderful that you're supporting her in this as well.
Oh yes, anything for music.
And I mean, we would like her to sing more Hindi, and it is amazing for me that a child who actually cannot read the Hindi script can actually sing in Hindi, which I just think is incredible. I think it's a must for all singers, apparently, that they have to be able to sing in all kinds of languages. But I find it incredible every time I listen to her singing in a different language that she doesn't read.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But we hope that we hope that there'll be more people.
I think with this book especially, because even when I was reading, as a British Indian, having been born and brought up in this country, obviously I'm not as connected with the music and the language as perhaps my parents are. But even when I was reading this, I was able to get inspiration from reading this.
As they say, learning continues, and we learnt a lot from our children.
Yeah.
Different generation born, brought up, because all the phonetics we've devised with the help of our children. They told us where to put the breaks, and therefore the dictionary is also in phonetic English alphabetical order.
Yes, yes.
So somebody who doesn't understand Urdu or Hindi or can't read it will be able to understand the meaning while listening to the tracks.
It's a really nice touch, because I know Jagjit Singh liked to explain some words, new words he was using before he would sing, right?
That's right.
So it's very much in line with
Absolutely.
the way
I mean,
do it.
This has come out of the fact that we were working through the rasa concept, which we've talked about, the navrasas, which has been explained in the Natya Shastra, which is a very, very old manuscript in India. And I don't claim to be an expert at all in this, but when we were reading the ghazals and trying to decipher the emotion that ghazal evoked in us, a lot of times it was to try and separate the poetry from the composition. So we were arguing about whether we are giving that particular rasa either Shringar Ras, which is for love, or Veer Ras, which means heroic, so heroism.
Courage.
Or courage, yeah. And when we were trying to sort of decide what rasa it was, we had our arguments, of course. Plenty. But it wasn't, Umesh kept saying, oh, it's the composition. And I kept saying, no, it's the poetry. And I think we eventually kind of worked out a system by which we worked through all of them separately and then came together and made decisions about which rasa fitted each lyric by itself. And it was a very interesting time because when you read the poetry, you cannot actually decide on what the rasa is till you've actually understood the poetry.
Right, yes.
And that was when I used to pester Umesh with, what does this mean? And I think to defend himself, I think eventually, to just stop me from going, what is the meaning of this and what is the meaning of that? He just said, I may as well get this. Because I keep finding these words and meanings of these words for you. I may as well define them for the reader as well.
Yes.
Because if you have this problem, then most people will.
Yes.
And although I speak Hindi very well, because I'm born and brought up in India, and Hindi is a language that you learn, a lot of the words are Urdu.
Yes.
And they don't come naturally. And therefore, I think having the dictionary really, really works for people like me, certainly, who don't understand Urdu.
And it helps me too, because I was looking and understanding the meanings of different words. It's really nice.
I think it brings out the beauty of the poetry.
Yes, yes, certainly. But there must be an element of the poetry that one discovers just uniquely to oneself.
Yeah.
It's not a universal feeling or message. It's very personal, depending on because you're seeing it through the lens of your life experience and feelings, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, for example, अब तो राशन की कतारों में.
अब मैं राशन की कतारों में नजर आता हूँ. That was written in an album called Cry for Cry, which was for the Cry charity. And there was a lot of famine, rationing. And he just picked up this lyric and gave a tune to it, which sounds so easy, very difficult to sing. But as you rightly pointed out, there are different interpretations to various poetries. For two different people may not think that they convey the same emotions. And therefore, where the rasas are concerned, we've taken out all the film songs because they've been televised.
Yes.
And therefore, a certain emotion has been projected, which may be happy or sad. So we didn't want to put our interpretations there.
Yes.
So they've only gone with the original ghazals.
That's very nice. Our time has unfortunately come to an end, but before we close, I'd love to know from both of you, where do you see the next step for you on this journey?
Well, we hope a lot of people acquire this book, and it's a lifelong reference book, ideally sat on a coffee table.
Yes.
And spread Jagjit Ji's legacy.
Yes.
And a service to language of Urdu, Hindi and English.
Beautiful. And Sharmila, for you?
I think I would like people to perhaps look at it a little bit more academically as well, and think about, whether the rasa is a good concept to use. We would love feedback on that, certainly.
Yes.
I'm not a musician, but I'm an academic. And because of that, I think I am very attracted to this whole sort of applying rasa concept to music and wondering about how that can go forwards.
Yes.
As well as thinking about what we can do as the next edition, maybe.
Very nice. It's been wonderful to have you both on the show. And if our viewers wish to purchase the book, is it available on Amazon?
It has just gone on Amazon, but it's primarily available on our website, which is www.lyricsoflegacy.com.
Wonderful.
And they're delivered worldwide.
Wonderful. Dr. Umesh Khot and Dr. Sharmila Khot, thank you so much for joining me on ZEE Companion. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation with you, and your works are incredible, so congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
us. Thank you for having us.
And thank you to all of you who have tuned into our show. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to share, do email us, zeecompanion@zeetv.co.uk. Thank you and good night.